love how that sounds. Anyway, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binding findies and hellions of all walks of life. My name is Javante, and I'm here with my group of amazing, beautiful, wonderful nerds. I'm so happy to see all of you again. I'm really hoping that my mic is actually loud. That cat's
It's
yelling at me.
it's louder than
Good.
it was previously, but still kind of low.
I will see if I can adjust it just on my Discord, because that might be where it's picking it up. In any event, hi nerds. Say hi, introduce yourselves, and I need a question for the day. Let me think. What'd be a good one for this? One pasta dish. If you could eat that forever, no other pasta dishes, what would it be? And we're gonna start with Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm playing Canian. Oh God. I, I haven't had it in years and I've literally had a craving for it, so this is going to guide my answer, but lasagna.
Pie.
Hi, I'm Pie or Pie Guy. I'm playing everyone's favorite, maybe deadbeat question mark gambler bard, dad bard, Adrian Adlard, and I have two picks. If there's one pasta dish I could eat for the rest of my life, and it's only that, it's either my grandmother's penne alla vodka, or specifically there's a pizza place like 2 blocks away from me that also make really good penne alla.
Ark.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ark or Ark Light Court, the Gridmaster, Lighthouse Keeper, Lore Rider, Beacon unto all beacons, yada yada yada. I play Orm, the not always angry and socially compliant vampire barbarian of the team. And I have to go with a really good like Cajun chicken penne. That would have to be the one. With some sausage, maybe some crawfish in there. That would definitely be
Ooh.
it.
And Panda.
Hi, I'm Red Panda Cola, or Panda for short. Tonight I'll be playing Yarn, your Sword Saint sad boy, and I think the only one is really Chicken Alfredo, because it just slaps.
And I'm Javante. I'm your GM for the evening and for the foreseeable future until, I don't know, I get assassinated by one of the players and my role gets taken over. That's fine. That'll probably never happen, maybe. Squints at Ark.
Ark's squinting at you, yeah. Ark's squinting.
And as for me, a good jambalaya.
Yeah.
Who wants to give the recap?
Sup.
All right, let's go. What happened last time?
I was about to say, let's not joke around. We all know who's gonna. So, I'm pretty sure we started off picking up, still in the middle of the fight, but from Canian's point of view, when he ran into what happened to be that one fella he talked to, and then the fight broke out with some Uriadra showing up. He did his thing. Then we promptly continue the fight with Orm joining come on brain, Adrian out in the courtyard against the Blackwind cultists. And Adrian's son, Adrian Jr., who I'm just going to refer to as Junior to help differentiate the two, also stepped in the middle of a fight because Phil Tieran's like, shit, we still have a job, and somebody wants to stab me. So, yeah, sister fight. So he took over that, dropped a son on her like twice.
Literally.
We ended up essentially chasing them all away in the end, including getting a neat new item that we needed to get and used it to end the fight before they all ran away into, I assume, the realm of shadows after Canian shot the mirror that was causing problems. And we ended it with getting the fuck out because we needed to finish this job, and we have something to do that involves removing something from someone's stomach.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
you all were heading towards the cathedral, the temple specifically.
Yeah.
Most of you aren't severely hurt. Most of you got out pretty much unscathed from the fight, plus a few healing spells and potions aside. The thing about that is that just because it was fine doesn't mean that you all aren't still bruised.
I got stabbed in the chest.
The streets are relatively calm isn't really the word, but there isn't a lot of crowd. It seems that most of the nobles and others got away. Those that are on the street seem to be some of the guards. A couple, a couple of the nobles are still roaming around. There's a few civilians kind of wandering, but the path to the temple itself is relatively clear. Is there anything pressing that the four of you would like to do before you enter the temple?
Do we know that the temple looks fairly removed from everything and generally isolated?
The temple that you are heading to is fairly isolated because this isn't one of the temples of the 8 that remain. This is one that's more specifically devoted to some of the smaller, lesser gods.
Gotcha. So more ignored compared to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In terms of Filtiarn, he's just going to be keeping an eye on everything and assuming Orm isn't stumbling over himself, mostly because of what's in him, currently trying to claw at him from within. Just essentially keep his senses sharp for anything that might be following them in case.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Kanian was probably gonna try to make sure that like nothing was following us.
Go ahead and both of you can give me perception checks. If you'd like to use your sense of smell, go ahead and use that as well.
Yep, I will be using my sense of smell and hearing for advantage.
I'm just gonna make sure nothing explodes out of Orm. I'm doing like bedside manners, like, "Hey, buddy, you doing good?"
I want to point something out for the group.
Mm-hmm.
None of you saw me do that. None of you actually know that I did that.
That's fair.
That is fair.
I did it with my back turned to
That's
everyone inside the clothing. Nobody knows that I did it. You just know that I have the object.
Well, then I'll just walk around and where do you stand on new abilities being used after level up? Like, if I got a new spell,
Yeah,
could I use
that's
it now?
perfectly fine.
Okay, well then, if we're walking, then what I'll do is I'll just, look at Orm. We're all kind of busted up, but I'll be like, oh, I remembered the arcane motions to do this, and I'll wave my hand, and suddenly Orm's nice and clean with prestidigitation.
As a general note, the temple that you all are heading to is a temple that worships Lana, specifically.
I got a 12 total.
I got a 10.
Doesn't seem to be anybody following you all. Whether that's because of the clean getaway or the fact that most of them ran, but you don't seem to be followed.
Gotcha.
Or a sheer focus of guards on an explosion at a...
two beams of 4 death rays of sunlight crashing.
Essentially,
yeah.
Literal
several beams
nuclear
of the
blast.
hammer of dawn dropping on the
Yeah.
middle of an auction house. Yeah, no, that might be more important.
Yeah, ever so slightly.
But no, as far as being followed, nothing. As you come near the temple, this doesn't look, other than from the fact that you've lived here, Adrian, this looks completely different to every other temple that any of you have ever seen. It's still beautiful in majesty, but its exterior looks a lot more like a casino's exterior. There are blinding lights surrounding the outside. The door isn't a massive wooden door. It's more upholstered on the outside. Two small stained glass windows against the sides of it that detail rolling dice falling down into a small river. Um, this is Alana Temple, who is the matron of luck, as well as desire and fortune.
The funny thing is, and Adrian would, kind of like crack a joke and say this while they're walking as they see this. He goes, I'm not actually much of a worshiper.
Aren't you? Isn't the reason why your wife left you because you were gambling?
Yes. Correct.
To
All
add,
right, I'm not unpacking that.
To add to this, actually, because Orm, you would have noticed this more. Could you give me let's say a history check?
Sure. Would this have to do with prior to me being coffined? No. 15? -1, 14.
So, some of the symbols that you see on the archways in front of the temple, this kind of like strange curved heart signet, it looks familiar. Oh, it looks like the axe design from the lady that got with Adrian's wife.
I want to say something to you, friend, but I'm pretty sure you're going to punch me in the face if I do again.
Copper for your thought. I don't have a copper. Just.
Oh, Adrian's wife has a type.
And that is?
People who press their luck.
I kind of feel that's everybody, but I think you're being very specific.
The arches on the top of the doorways, they're identical to the axe design of their new friend.
I get the feeling there's a little more behind that than just friend. Gotcha.
Yeah, I already got punched in the mouth earlier for
he did
complimenting their former significant other to them, but
so what you're saying is that they're also a gambler.
I don't think gamble in the same sense as Adrian. I think gamble in the sense of pressing one's luck against the odds.
That sounds like the definition
more
of
like
gambling.
defining. Well, more like a defining thing than just for coin or whatever Adrian gambles for.
The door opens.
like in the middle of this, Adrian's like, "This is why I prefer storytelling. Let's just get this over."
The door opens. Instead of seeing Law, you all see as this door opens a red-skinned tiefling woman, or not tiefling, Hadislan might be. Hadislan woman with black curved horns that go straight up and a very beautiful dress-like design. And as she pushes the door open, she looks forward, looks at the group, looks up and up and up at Orm, and then very quickly, you all have the things, right?
Oh, Orm is tiny. My enlarge.
Oh, right. Orm is tiny and
yeah.
Orm is
he's medium,
normal size,
but he's not giant. Yeah,
he's normal size. Orm is still big.
I got a third spell slot. I can make Orm tiny, but no, he's medium.
But you all have the items, right? You're the ones that we're waiting for.
Who's we?
That's a good question.
She kind of looks back, leans forward. The lady from the celestial brothel, Law.
Did she mention a contact that we're supposed to be meeting?
I don't know. Thanks.
She said to live to her.
She kind of lets out a slight sigh. Law, there. I know. One moment. You're fine. Come on in. This is just the head. This is just the head of the temple.
Does that actually sound like her? And is her scent the same?
Scent is the same. If you want to give a perception check, sure, but the scent is the same.
Look, I have to ask after this fucking night. That's a too many, man.
Uh, yes, this does sound like Law. She sounds a little bit exasperated, as if she has been yelling, but has seemed to have calmed down. But this does appear to sound like Law.
All right,
Okay,
well,
the exasperation sounds like her. Yeah, that's her.
let's get this over with. I don't want to be here any longer than we have to.
Right, and the girl like pushes the door open a little bit more for you all to come in.
Philtier's gonna be the last one to go in, letting everybody else go for him. Make sure nothing shows up before he slips in behind.
The interior of this temple, where you would expect booths and benches, you see lounges, soft plush chairs, even just cushions scattering the ground. Tables that still have remnants of where people were gambling on them. The pew itself, this kind of glorious looking marble statue of somebody holding up an opened dice block. Leaning against the pew is a very exasperated looking Law, who is just tapping a finger on her arm as this Hadislan quickly like slinks away behind her and kind of like hides behind her. So, what happened?
Somebody's sister was there.
Family drama.
Let's
just leave it
Can you
at.
say that again?
The sun dropped on the castle twice.
Yes.
Yeah,
All
after he
great
was
work.
attacked in the
Yeah,
middle.
all
you wanna
great
talk
work.
about family. Yeah.
Family drama is essentially the best way to sum it up.
Oh my god.
I wasn't even meaning your sister, Philtiarn, when I said that.
And
Oh no, but yet it still fits in the family
Just-
drama.
all of us talking at the same time right now feels appropriate. That I feel like that's also happening. Like our characters, like we're just talking over each other. Like the sun dropped, my family drama. I met my kid. Like we're just all over on top of each other.
Law just pinches the bridge of her nose. Okay.
A lot.
Look,
Not
if
us.
you need to know, we ended up dealing with issues from the auction because a certain party ended up being related to somebody else, came for the statue, and threw a fit in the middle of the auction, but they didn't get it.
Where's the statue?
Good question.
We'll get to that just a moment. Orm's gonna look at the Hadslin person, not extremely aware of what or who or how they identify. It just goes, is there cold water in here?
I can fetch some.
And can it be good cold water and not like locked in a basement for God knows how long and accrued?
She looks really
Years.
confused for a couple seconds, and then
There's a
seems,
story
and
behind
then
that
seems
that's not
to
important.
catch on, and then goes, "Yes, it'll be good water. Yes."
Okay, good water, big cup,
Okay, I'll be right back.
big cup,
She
and any alcohol you have here,
we mostly just have wine.
that's fine.
Okay, and she
I appreciate it.
quickly heads away.
Orm,
You go.
go ahead. Okay, Orm is going to go to Law and like hand at her forearm. Yeah, I'm gonna need a bit of a delicate touch for this one. And lays onto the table that had the dice and things that are there, and removes like the collared shirt and everything. And there is a fresh gash across his stomach that can obviously be seen was done by his own hand.
You were... Did you put it in you?
I'm a walking lead box and shit hit the fan.
Adrian is gonna see this and he's gonna drop onto one of the lounges and just shout out, "Double the wine, please."
Okay.
How gentle of a touch do you want?
You stay the fuck over there.
If you're afraid I'm about to rip out your intestines, that's not the case.
I have yet to see proof otherwise.
You're a fine one to talk. I have seen you rip people in half.
Yeah.
She just takes
And
it.
she is very well known for taking care of the people that she is entrusted with.
I can try.
Your gun smells weird, or your sword smells weird, because I don't know what guns are.
Gunpowder.
Nothing.
If I use a dagger, will that help?
No, I think.
Oh, you don't want Adrian to do this? Looking over to
Yeah,
others,
just-
Adrian.
I think Adrian should do it.
Just because he has to, because the others have already offered, he's laying on the lounge, like just staring up on the ceiling, and he just says, "Don't even try asking me."
The Haddisson quickly returns with both, not a cup. She just has like an actual just glass pitcher of water, which she sets down onto the table. Looks at Orm, looks at the scar, and then looks at the rest of Orm, and then back at the scar. Alcohol, right? Darts back and returns a couple seconds later with 2 bottles of deep red wine, and just sets those both as well on the table.
Thank you. You know exactly what we're dealing with. All that I know is that this is a phylactery, that there are 2 people, I know of 3 people, trying to get their hands on this, other than yourself. I did this as a safety precaution because I'm a walking lead box, and I didn't have time to put it in the lead box you gave us.
Things were a little crazy.
Okay, I don't... Is this trying to convince me that this was a good idea, or other people? As she's very quickly starting to gather up what just seems to be a weapon that she fashions from the air itself. A small, very... almost like a filleting dagger.
I'm trying to explain the decision making if you have to explain it to anyone else.
As long as I get it back, there's no explanation needed.
Okay. Second part to this. Why do you want this? Or the people that you're representing want this?
Do you mind if I work and talk at the same time?
I want you to talk before you work.
Just from the lounge, like, wasn't there something about throwing it in a lake?
It was initially.
That is what my master would like. I teach.
It was supposed
Considering.
Is it going to go there? Or go somewhere that would have the same effect as it being within said lake?
We intend on placing it into a different plane.
That's magic bullshit. I need, like, explanation. Big pencil this for me.
So...
They intend to... Well, you're saying a different plane. Which plane?
Oh, specifically, we're thinking Arborea. She gestures to herself being a part of the celestial brothel.
Makes sense. Essentially, putting it somewhere not directly connected here. You know how things were getting weird because of, I'm assuming that was Tamamo.
Yes.
The spear. out of character just so I don't risk metagaming unintentionally. I could tell that was of the realm of shadows, that sensation that we were getting.
Yes, you innately can tell. You're partly from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes.
I just wanted to make sure that that was something I could.
Yes.
Okay, that sensation I'm sure you all felt from that spear, what she was doing, that was the realm of shadow.
And they want to send it to somewhere full of trees.
A different plane, yes.
Okay, as long as we're all on the same thought process of it not being here, we
The
can go
idea
to
is to
work.
keep. I know Arboria's part of Amir, right?
Yes.
Okay. Arborea is Amir's realm.
Actually, it's Tequin's. My bad. It's Tequin's.
Sorry. Oh, then I would definitely know that.
Yeah.
Arborea is part of Tequin's realm. Meaning one of the eights. It's better to keep it in one of their realms where it's a lot harder for them to try to get to it.
Orm is biting the cork out of both bottles.
Now,
We're just real quick, important question. How safe are we in the here and now? Like, do they know we're here? How are we here?
One person might know I'm here. And that's the person
a friend
who,
of yours, right?
yeah, the one who dug me up. Not 100% certain. I can't guarantee that. Again, magic is big letters, big numbers for me, and I don't really care for it. They could know that I'm here. I don't believe that they would risk coming here currently with everything that just happened, and that's why this now has to move at the fastest pace possible, and why I made the choice I did.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I'll ask my follow-up question, Orm, after you receive whatever surgery.
I have a couple questions about the whole plan after the fact.
uh-huh.
Really, just Orm, when you finished guzzling, did it have any effects
Oh
on you
yeah.
while it was in you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's
All
why I
right,
wanted
so
out.
wait,
Explain.
so it was affecting Orm inside his body, and our two ideas are to either dump it in a lake or dump it in another plane.
What if we
Are
dumped
there
it in the lake in another?
So, the lake that it was initially dumped in, at this point, she is starting to, like, mark where she needs to cut.
And Orm is drinking so that the skin is hydrated and easier to cut into, essentially.
The lake that it was initially dumped in was a lake in the realm of shadows, specifically where she wanted to place it. Its magic would only leak out in the sense that it's already imbued within this place anyway. As for where we intend to put it, a great bit of necromantic magic doesn't work that well in Arborea. Plus, divine magic, we can have it actually sealed properly.
Hamamo T.
Hamano no mai.
Yeah. And her guard dog are gonna be looking for it.
I'm
Guaranteed.
much less worried about them if we're in Arborea.
And L is
Yeah.
going to be looking for it.
Who's L?
L is, I am aware that they were Kitsadrian because I saw their form, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Kitsadrian, necromancer, from my understanding, they have a massive amalgamation of body parts and flesh. The amalgam is not to be hurt. It is acting under it's serving without an understanding of service. Innocence even for the undead exists. But a Kitsadrian necromancer of some kind is the one who dug me up and got me the position with you to get this statue.
Interesting.
And they wanted the statue.
Interesting.
I'm gonna round back to my follow-up question, and no judgment here, Orm, especially while you're under the knife. Just to be clear, this is the person who hired you to kill us if things went wrong, right?
I didn't have to kill you at all. This is just that was a
But they gave you the
anecdotal-
option.
I gave myself the option
She
because
is now
I come
going
from
to
a
start
time where that's
sliding
an option.
the knife into your stomach.
Yeah. My life before the box, that was the plan B for anything that went wrong.
Listen, I trust you now. We fought together. You're on my good list. Are they gonna kill us?
Kill you? No. Torture's definitely probably on the list. But
Good.
Honestly, we're on several lists at this point.
exactly. And there's also a possibility that they're also on the same side as
Tamamo.
yeah, that person.
I doubt that much.
They had other brothers and sisters who were Kitsadrian fighting alongside them.
That's different.
So
I'm gonna look at
reaching
Law.
in at this
While she's doing that, I'm gonna look at her. I'm still just lounging. I've been lounging this entire time. Like the damage of the fight has hit Adrian. So he's just lounging, and he looks at Law and points to Canian and back to himself and says, "What about the shadow god in our heads?"
Yeah, no.
If that's who, I think I explained that who that was, as well as who my teacher did as well. That's Nogistane.
and as she finally seems to grab a hold of it and begins to pull this relic out of your cavity.
it was in the bag.
Yeah.
So the bag has the lead box it's supposed to go in there as well.
Yeah. As she pulls the bag out, the bag's starting to necrode, by the way. As you can see, like it's beginning to slowly turn black as she just sets it onto the ground. Right.
So weird.
Water. He grabs the pitcher of water and pours it into the open wound. Because he's not bleeding. There's no blood in his system. Or he's pouring water into it to try and clean whatever it is.
And if it starts smelling bad, there's just like a wave of the hand, and everything suddenly smells like roses.
The Hadison woman is actually going to start beginning to casting a version of Cure Wounds to just heal the wound over.
No, don't, no,
She looks up. Huh?
no, water pouch, hand me the water pouch.
Holds the water pouch over to you.
I'll take one of the blood vials out from the side compartment and slam that and then run a finger covered in blood over the cut to heal.
He's unique.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
So back to the person in our heads who's threatened our families.
Nogistane.
Right. She reaches into the bag, pulls out first the the lead box and sets that down, reaches in again and pulls out the actual item in question and sets that down as well. Her soul's in that. Cracks open the lead box.
Orm will then grab the statue to put it in the box for her, so she doesn't have to interact with it anymore.
And as she places the box over and clicks it closed, there's a series of locks that begin to form, and you like this final click as this gust of green air passes through. Orm, you no longer feel that same echoey presence. It just seems to have been swept away. But there was still this disquiet in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So probably what you two felt was an echo.
It only happened after we found that pool of blood and bodies.
Makes sense. Sounds like a version of a summoning circle.
Yeah.
So more than likely, that's what that was meant for. And, you know, the whole thing, stare into the abyss stares back. The abyss in this question has a name.
Ah.
Yep.
Hopefully with this thing sealed, now we can get down to the annoying prospect of having to now get it over to Arborea. And she pinches her nose.
Which,
Is going to be...
now that part of the job is somewhat for us, goes on to the next part of the job that you...
The Castello Query.
Yeah. He'll reach in to his coat and pull it out barehanded. So, you know how we mentioned the auction got attacked?
Oh, you bonded to it, didn't you?
Oh yeah, that was the other bad news, but I really wanted to get that out first.
That was the worst of it. It felt like it was necessary in the moment. You know, when you're attacked by a bunch of Uriadria, one of the first to consume, and your own.
I will send a note to the capital, letting them know that it will be safe within the hands of somebody I trust for, at minimum, a month.
I was going to say, even if it costs my portion of the cost of it, we're on their radar and they're going to be gutting for us, especially as he likes to refer to her, and he'll look at Orm, Tamamono Mai's guard dog, which honestly she was pretty much unfair. Saying family drama is no lie. Family for my master and my own parent.
Good, great, wondrous. Keep a hold of it for
Yeah,
now.
apparently I have a sister.
Keep a hold of that for now. And Mitty, Jesus Christ. Keep a hold of
Come
that
here,
for
cat.
now. When
Panther attacks the temple.
if,
Ah.
if and when they are going to ask for that back, which will have to be in a month's time, as that was when the Castello Queries... There's a portion of this magic that's going to have to wear off of you before we can get it removed properly.
That's fine.
So...
Look, I am... As long as I can use it in the meantime to help keep others safe, because they're going to be putting a target on our backs, and that means everyone else around us is in trouble.
That's fine. It's
I'll
less of an
willingly
issue
give
than
it up after.
It's less of an issue than you'd think, just more irritating, I guess. Anything?
Life's full of irritations.
Any other bits of bad news anyone wants to share?
You mean other than Adrian's ex?
You know,
Oh, I knew about that part already.
Oh, you already knew about her new squeeze, apparently.
everyone knew before me.
She gestures to you. I told all of you.
I didn't know about.
Oh!
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Huh.
What?
Oh, so only I get punched in the face, and I was complimenting her.
I think because he was already feeling some sort of way after meeting.
So that part is neither here nor there. I'm sorry about that, Adrian.
You know, if you're asking for us to do another job, I'm asking for double.
Canian?
And he keeps it for 1 extra month. And I point to Filthier.
Canian, any bad news, good news?
I honestly rather avoided my own drama. I think out of the four of us, perhaps,
She just nods
I
like
came out of this the
happily.
cleanest.
She's like, oh, thank the gods.
I
Yeah.
wasn't even expecting my family drama, so yeah.
At least my son did something good.
That was the thing. Adrian
Oh.
Adelar Jr. single-handedly held off a great deal of the enemies that appeared within the auction house. If we can somehow make sure that that is a
Yeah.
known fact.
Yeah, he's gonna jump up from lounging, like pride in his chest, and be like, "Yeah, he's the one who called down the sun."
We don't bring that part up. We don't want him getting
Why?
charged for the damages and things, but he did. He was a very pivotal, responsible, and well-rounded defender of the people within there
He also
and the
helped us do
artifacts
our
there.
job, so
She smiles.
Damn straight he did.
Got it. Happily. I'll be sure to inform those that I work for specifically of the job well done that he has made.
Good. And make sure he's paid well.
I'm sure that as a knight, especially for the realm that he serves, he'll be paid quite handsomely. You all can rest
tying
here.
up his right arm, I'm pretty sure he'll be fine.
You all can rest here. I actually insist that you all do that. If you are being followed, this place at least has sanctuary upon it, so that should suffice for that.
One
I
thing
always
this
know.
coffin's good for.
Is Orm already out?
Orm doesn't sleep, but he is deaf. Orm is damn near at half his hit points from the fight and the surgery that just occurred.
The
Funny.
Hadislan girl is just kind of just sitting like away from everybody, just
Funny enough, out of everybody, I think Filtiarn is the clean puts all.
just Law raises her hand. I'm going to get that into my place for the night. And then we'll discuss further, and I will get you all your payments in the morning.
I do have a civil request.
Yes.
As many in this room are now aware of my condition.
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
I need to be able to satiate that if possible.
Just ask me.
No.
Why?
No. You're not my type.
Whatever.
What's your type, darling?
Ampuled or bottled if possible. Clean. That's all I'm really worried about.
The Hadislan stands. I can provide that if you'll just give me a couple minutes.
If you're drawing it from yourself, you small child, I will hurt you myself.
You're not gonna do that.
There's like a little soft laugh. No, I just know how to get a supply.
Then that I agree to.
Okay. And
And now Orm just collapses into the lounge next to Adrian.
she now looks at the rest of the group. Any other civil requests?
Is there any more booze than this?
Yeah, that's.
This is a temple of Lana. More than likely, there's a whole case of alcohol somewhere in here.
Is it all the same?
It's a temple still, so probably wine.
Gotcha. I'm gonna take a sniff of what that wine is and then go and the rest use that to go hunt it.
Adrian? Canyon?
I think he's doing what I want as Filtron walks away for the.
Canyon?
I just want a bed.
Well, that you can definitely find of a plenty here. Lana is the goddess of temptation, so you can find a mattress of some variety here.
Great.
Can't guarantee on the purity of said places, but
I'm gonna go find something without any mysterious stains tonight.
I'm just gonna like when she says purity, I'm gonna be like, you saw the state of us when we walked in. What about any of this is pure?
she gives like a little half wave, and then forms the door to her own little dimensional area and steps through with the lead box. Kanyan, if you are looking for a room with a mattress, could you just roll me a d10?
Yeah. 4.
Sorry.
You might want to bring a black light.
So,
Or not.
The door that you initially open, you hear chains rattling, and you're like, "Oh, it must be locked." But no, the door opens just fine. You see a room that is covered in soft red light, with the same heart shape as the outside, like exterior walls, as a bed. As you peek around from the other side of the door, you just see several chains and several latches just hanging off of the door. But, with your sense of smell, the room smells clean. In the sense of it smells sanitized, but clean.
Okay. And no one's in here?
No.
Alright. I'm gonna do my best to figure out how to lock this door and then just fall asleep face down on the bed.
There's plenty of chains to lock the door with.
Say, you can use the chains to lock the door.
Like throw shit.
Maybe not their, initial use, but
Sorry to have to take a slightly quick break. I have to go grab my wife from work.
All
so
good.
We'll take a small break, and we'll be back with the rest of this game momentarily. So,
cool.
A little bit. Hi, we are back. I had to make sure that the desktop audio was not muted. I'm professional.
Yep.
So after Canyon found his room, a
Uh,
perfectly fine, serviceable room that nothing has ever
I mean, it's
happened.
The
clean.
bed.
You found
Yeah,
the
It's
bed.
clean. That's what matters.
After Kanyan walks off and Filtion's gone to go find the rest of the wine, and it's just me and Orm left in like the center area, can I like stand up or jolt up or whatever? And you said there were gambling tables.
Yeah.
Did anyone leave in a rush? Leave any gold behind, perchance, that might get swiped?
Give me a perception check,
I would love to.
and then roll
You're
a d100
looting?
directly afterwards.
Perception.
While he's doing that, do you want me to roll my own perception for the wine, or just
You find it's wine. It's a temple dedicated to
Yeah.
taxation.
I only got a 9.
So perception, and then a d100.
D100, 66.
Okay. You don't find any gold.
Because I'll get up and start walking table to table,
Yeah,
like.
you don't find any gold. You do find a couple scattered copper, here and there.
Okay.
Do you take it?
Oh, I'm swiping it so hard.
Noted.
You're just taking pennies.
Yeah, no, man. Listen, they left behind their coin. Like, how much copper do I swipe?
Yeah, noted. All right, we're gonna keep that in the back of my head.
I'll just jot down
Mark.
handful of copper.
7 copper.
All right, 7
You're
copper.
gonna go to prison for stealing 7 cents.
Listen, they decided to leave coin behind, and here's the thought process, right? We're in a place of luck and fortune, and what better fortune to fall in my lap than 7 missing coins?
Adrian, are you stopping to think maybe those were left as like offering, maybe, or tithes? I wasn't big in the church at all, but I know that's a thing.
Yeah, well,
I'm not gonna stop you. I'm
contrary to
affording some kind of moral. I have no moral high ground to really stand on. I'm just letting you know of the possibility.
well, contrary to popular belief, and if it makes you feel better, I personally don't believe in luck. I believe in skill, and if anyone's leaving offerings for luck, they're chumps.
Hey, again,
So
Walks
I
into the
haven't
room
been
holding up-
alive for gods know how long. I don't even know who this god is or might be or any of that. I'm just, again, I'm with you on skill over luck.
So Filtiarn,
Yep.
as you enter into the room smells different.
Smells how?
There is now this underlying scent of cigars and flowers and alcohol and money that's just overloading your senses. And you can faintly hear the sound of rolling dice and cheers and booze.
And where am I hearing that?
Everywhere.
He kind of stops with the 5 bottles of wine he found. And, like, because it's just a lot of sensory overload at once right now, apparently, he's going to stop and try to, like, sort it out and figure out why he's hearing it. Because I assume the room's, like, empty still, right?
It's just the 3 of you. Canyon is not in here, but there's just the 3 of you.
So he'll just slowly look around the room, trying to.
You see on one of the tables, some of the dice lift and then just roll.
You stole money from ghosts?
They land on snake eyes.
It's ghost money.
He will walk over to that table and look down at this dice.
They land as snake eyes. At the front of the table, where it is facing where Adrian is, you see a hand of cards slowly flip up and reveal aces and eights.
Is there a way for me to tell if this is actually happening or if I'm seeing something else entirely?
What was in that wine? Filthy on tripping balls.
I haven't drunk any of it yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. You haven't drunk any wine yet. I don't know if there's a
Insight, maybe?
insight. I guess. Yeah.
All right. Let's see how well that goes.
To note for the dice rolling and the cards flipping, the two of you not facing the table, you can hear the dice rolling.
I was gonna say, I think Adrian would like,
14.
that's fine, just out of his mind, and he probably would have, back to everything. He just walks by, oh hey, and grabs one of the bottles from Filthy Arm.
The 14, yeah, there doesn't seem to be any magical, at least not overtly magical effects that are making you hallucinate. There is an air of magic, clearly.
Could I do an Arcana roll to see if it's maybe ethereal in nature?
Sure.
You're just gonna grab one for you and not me, the guy who
13.
just had surgery?
Can you just drink 2?
And he came back with 5.
Divine. It is
All
divine.
right,
in
I'll
nature.
grab another. Grab another. And I'll like just out of my mind, like, yeah, I hear dice rolling, that's fine. And I'll walk over to Orm and hand him the other bottle.
That'd be 13 total.
It is divine in nature.
Okay. Could I infer that maybe since...
Your mic cut out.
Better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Could I infer that since we're specifically in the temple fate temptation, that this might be some sort of crossover to their plane or realm, if it's a divine nature?
There's two inferences you can make with the rolls that you've made, like coinciding. The first is potentially that this place acts as a foci for their plane.
Mm-hmm.
The other is it's a warning because of something that is disrupting the natural state of the temple. Adrian, did you take a drink of the wine?
I would have, yeah.
It tastes like water.
Gotta drink more.
Look at Orm. Yeah, hey, this tasting weird to you at all?
He'll
tastes
slowly
fine.
turn towards the other two.
It's wine.
Did any of you do something?
Oh yeah, he took a bunch of copper off of some tables.
Give me a religion check, Filthy R.
Let's see how well this goes.
This is happening after Canian left.
Yeah. Listen, you just don't leave money out.
That's a
what
flat
better
16.
fortune.
Lana, goddess of luck, temptation, and fortune. Lana, whose your offerings to her are to succumb to temptation, but what is the house's belongs to the house. Coin that is in the house belongs to the house. So more
did
than
what
like-
now?
Yeah.
You
I took some coins because it is good fortune for me.
There is the sound of a shuffling deck of cards, and then a hand is dealt towards where Adrian is.
Could we all see it?
Yep.
What is it?
It's
What-
upside down. It is upside down.
You gotta
Filtern
go
will
play your hand.
walk over and point at them. Get over here.
What are the
Get
cards?
over here.
What are the cards?
They just not.
They're face down. They
face
were
down.
dealt.
They were
You don't
dealt
know. You have
two-
to sit down.
There were two cards dealt face down. The deck is then set like firmly onto the table.
Oh god, I'm tempted to push this further because of who he is. And I think I might. I think I gotta.
Yeah. Temple of Temptation.
Yeah. I just
We've all yet to see Adrian actively gamble. Let's come on.
well, I think the thing is he like points to the ceiling like as if talking to God. And says just kind of like not shouts it, but he loudly probably echoes in a temple. Goes, "I don't believe in luck."
There is a harsh another shuffle of the deck, like a sure, sets it back down onto the table.
Go show your skill then.
Luck is something that those without skill believe in. I am a man of skill, and when I'm around, the house always loses. This is good fortune in my pocket. You believe in fortune, then you should believe in the fortune that I just put in my pocket.
What is in the house belongs to the house when it comes to Lana. You are in her house. You found the coins. There, they belong to her.
I'm going to pull out my own deck of cards and go to sit down and say, well, Lana's about to lose for the first time.
A platinum materializes on the table.
He just looks at Orem, just exasperated.
I mean, he like robbed the dealer's tips, essentially. That's how I'm looking at it.
He took from the goddess of fortune,
I don't know who that is.
Lana.
Fun fact, you
That
actually
this
would.
is her show.
From how old you were, worship of Lana was not really a thing from your era.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. I know this is a temple, and I feel safe here, weirdly enough, but...
Gods, you must be older than I
Oh.
thought. Lana is the goddess of fate, fortune, and temptation. One of
My
the...
kind of woman.
Yeah, ironic that the gambler doesn't believe in...
I mean, hey, you
I
don't
just-
believe in a woman to find them attractive.
I just shout back, as I saddle up to the table, I prefer storytelling.
Uh-huh. And I prefer you not pissing off gods in their house.
So
And yet here we are.
here's
And
what we're going to do.
I'll match the platinum in gold.
So here's how we're going to do. We're going to play a version of blackjack. You get 2 initial dice rolls, which are the first 2 cards laid out in front of you.
Blackjack is you don't want to go above 21,
You
right?
don't want to go above 21.
Yeah.
Roll your first die. It's a D20.
E20.
Oh.
Do I add anything to it or just flat D20?
Flat D20.
Flat D20. 16.
Okay. Roll your second.
$13.
Now the thing is, as you see the hand deal 2 cards to itself, and I got to roll my own dice. Because you could bluff.
What's a platinum in gold? It's just 10, right?
It's 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks to you like this deck kind of seems to face you and seems to be waiting to see if you want to hit, which means to add another card, or if you're good.
Mm.
What is his current total with those 2 dice rolls?
He's busted.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, so it's just the numbers that are on the d20 themselves? Oh, okay.
I will.
I could fuck with it and make it 2d10s. That might actually make it easier.
You do it 2d12 because
Oh, 2d12 works.
Yeah.
Okay, roll 2d12 instead. My
Yeah, because each suit of cards is what, 12 in a suit?
Yep.
13.
yeah.
I need some d12s. Hold on.
But the ace is both 1 and 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
So essentially 12 because it could play either.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Those work. All right. 2d12.
2d12s.
Total of 7.
The deck kind of gestures as if you want to hit, which means add another card, or if you want to stay.
I will add another card.
7 out of 21,
It
and you're like, I'll play it safe.
It tosses another card.
All right. So 1d12.
Yep.
That's another 2.
It is going to also toss a card to itself.
Listen, I never said my skill was good. I just said I prefer skill over luck.
Gestures to you. There is a bit of like a confidence as the deck kind of like does a little shuffle. There's almost a confident like, all right.
Can I insight an invisible deck?
Oh, sure. Roll me an insight. You're a gambler
no,
at
I-
advantage.
Oh, sick. Why would I get rid of my d20?
Iltiarn just goes over to near Orm, sits, huddles, sets them down, and opens one and just watches the train wreck.
So are there any more like really powerful women deities that I should know about?
Technically, she's one of, I wouldn't say this out loud, and this is no. She's not an Eidolon, one of the 8.
Okay.
So Haros, Bestius, does any of those names sound familiar to you?
Haros, Vestius, Tequin, and Emir sound familiar.
Those ones, yes.
Okay. So the
You
8.
do know the 8 remain.
Yeah. But they
Okay.
weren't the 8 remain when I.
You actively would know the 12.
Yeah.
But you recognize the 8 remain.
There was 12, not 8, when I was still kicking around beforehand. But yeah, I want to see what Adrian
They're
got.
supposed to be, but apparently happened.
18 for a total of 24.
There is a confidence in this that's like, oh no, please keep going. This kind of like a very, in the sense of the house always wins kind of thought, in the way the shuffle is of like, no, keep going.
Huh. Okay.
Like it doesn't need to hide that it's confident is going to win.
Okay. I mean, I'll play into it. Oh, my dice. Want me to roll another?
Yep. It flicks another card to you.
You're at 9.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I'm glad you could see me counting in my head.
I got you.
The last one that you can get a 12 on and be safe.
I got a 5.
14.
14. It stays. You do not see another card get added to its hand, but so it stays.
14, huh?
Mm-hmm. It taps. It's like you see like the cards lift and fall as if it's a hand like lifting the cards and lowering them.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm a gambling man. I've lost it all once. and I wouldn't be much of a gambler man if I didn't go for it all. Yeah.
Another card gets sent to you.
Either way, I win or I lose, and it's great. Is all I'm saying. So I'm having fun either way. I'm so over. That's an 11.
25.
Yeah.
It flips up the 3 cards that it had, which was, let me see what my fucking thing was. An 8.
I'm gonna laugh if it's low.
It was an 8, an 8, and a 5.
Exactly 21.
Exactly 21.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It as the platinum like disappears, your coin purse lifts and you see the 7 copper reset themselves back onto the table. And there's just this like soft, and then the room's overpowering sensation fades back into normalcy.
I'm just gonna look at the other 2 on the table and be like, I never said my skill was good. I just said I prefer skill.
Hey, I didn't doubt the meaning behind your words because I didn't know what you meant when you said them to begin with.
As far as I was concerned, you were talking out of your when it came to the goddess games. So I warned you.
I'm gonna walk out the door with the bottle of wine and be like, they cheated as the door shuts.
As you're walking,
you hear a faded. They're a goddess. They cheated.
As you're walking out, the Haddislin is like walking back in, and she bumps into you, carrying a small box with what seems to be several blood vials like in it. Just sorry.
Yeah, I'm going for a midnight walk.
They recommend not doing that. You are being hunted. You know that, right?
Why don't you just walk laps around the room in here?
Also, did you try to gamble with my goddess?
That's why I'm going for a walk.
Yeah, he learned the hard way not to do that.
Yeah.
They are a cheat who relies on luck.
All right. And she goes through the door. I got blood.
Thank you.
Did it matter?
He just looks at
exactly who it was from, and she sets the box down. I wasn't told,
No.
I wasn't told, so just assumed.
No, I don't have
A palette?
Not exactly. How old are you?
She seems to think about that answer. 148, give or take.
Okay, so I feel safer having this conversation with you then. The torture that was done to me deprives me of the desire to seek out particulars, but I still feel the hunger pains. Just like standing and being within this space prior to that would have been deadly for me, but now I get to experience the safety and sanctuary of a temple that my people wouldn't have experienced prior to. So exact flavors, I'm just looking for clean and safe.
That much was guaranteed.
And that's all I'm worried about.
Okay. There was another one of you. I'm hoping they found a room.
Canyon, yeah, I think he wandered off.
Yeah.
Kind of regret not gambling now.
I see you've helped yourself to the wine here. That's good.
Yeah, it's tempting. Couldn't pass it up.
Let's just say after this night, it's well needed.
To overindulge is her blessing.
And some of this religious stuff sounds really fucking good.
Depends on what you worship. As one of Lana's head priestesses, it's my job to indulge in temptation as I see fit, so long as I do not go into excess.
Is that why you were staring at me when I came in?
Sure.
Ah,
Hmm.
She's
if you think that Lana's great, you should ask Law about hers.
I know the Celestial Brothel. They've been around way before me.
she
But they got way more rules.
she smiles. No, there's definitely more now. I mean, if we're talking about lesser deities like Lana, um, well, there are the twins, Lusoria and Invidiva.
Yep.
Those are the twin goddesses of lust and desire, as well as envy.
Uh-huh.
And they're twins?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Lusoria is lust and sex. Invidiva is desire and envy. Kind of the two halves of the same coin, but the yin and yang portions of it.
There were only 12 when I was around, and now there's 8, and then a bunch of smaller ones.
I want to say smaller, but
lesser. The term
lesser.
we use. There's also, if you are more into, she seems to like think about how she wants to say these. The idea of unbiased justice. There's Agris. Um, if you're into contracts and law, there's Zega. It's like she's like listing them off.
Yeah, Orm is like shaking his head no to anything that doesn't have to do with like sex, drinking, fucking partying, all that kind of stuff. He's like, no, yes, that one. No, yes, those two.
She thinks about it. Then there's the ones that we. Actually, hold on. She thinks about it for a moment. There's also the god of balance and oceans, Kai Fashion. Orm.
Why does it sound familiar?
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Kai Fashion sounds familiar.
In what way?
Yes, correct.
Fosh.
Uh-huh.
I didn't meet Fosh.
Orm has not met Fosh.
No,
Kai
guilty
Fashion
on.
still sounds
I
familiar.
just
Yeah,
Why does that
the
sound
name
familiar?
sounds familiar, but Orm was not there for the meeting with Fosh.
And then there are, she, like, there's a little bit where she rolls her shoulders back. There's also the three. They're a little different.
Do I know what she's
Infiltrate.
referencing to in terms of the 3?
Give me a religion. I mean, this one's a little bit easier, but give me a religion.
11.
The 3 refers to the cult of the gentle sins. These are the gods.
Gotham,
Yeah.
Scorn, and
It's tyranny, which is, hold on, I'm looking at the.
it starts with a G.
It's not Grashtiel.
Okay.
I think it's actually Heitrankle. One moment. Cult of the Gentle Sins. Yeah, Heitrankle.
Gotcha.
So when
Yeah.
referring to them, the Cult of the Gentle Sins are the god of undeath, death, and that alike, which is Gotham, the god of violence and murder, Scorn, and the god of tyranny, Heitrankle.
Yeah.
Orm, you know of these 3.
Mm-hmm.
So that's familiar to you. They have active worship, although it's more of a cult following than it is anything else.
Any religion's a cult if you really want to step back at it. But no, I understand the negative disposition of social appearances and idolatry of negative aspects to humanity and the soul and its worth.
There's also
Takes another big swig.
there's also scorn is unabashed murder, which is still frowned upon in most society.
Why? It's just death.
Death is Gotham's purview. Think of
When-
murder more as the active taking of life for no other reason than self-satisfaction.
Yeah. It's not in terms of defense or defense of others. It's purely for the desire to just
Kill.
I know.
She pauses. Their symbol. Um, you probably know of Gotham's if you got more blood like this. Um, this is Scorn's, and she shows you an image of what appears to be a sword piercing through a bony hand. You know that symbol.
Mm-hmm.
It's tattooed on Elle's shoulder. And Heitwrinkle's is this. And you see what looks like a blue seal with a sword piercing through its center. Which you have not seen that one on anyone.
Yeah.
And if you've been around long enough to know about the 12, that puts you in a much, much larger time frame than even I'm used to. The only people I know of that know of the 12 are higher ranking echelons in the church.
before the
A few
chords.
before the Accords. So, she shrugs. Even with the 8 remain, while we're here, we mostly worship the 4.
Spend a lot of time around old people.
Retia and Cahulas aren't exactly on great terms, nor any of the druidic people in Retia. There seems to be a bitterness to his tone.
And if you're a Haddislin, getting any roles in any echelon of church society has some drawbacks to it.
No pun intended, but they tend to demonize them.
Vestius may be our mother in a sense, but she's not well liked by many. For good reason.
Take your word on it. You seem alright to me.
She smiles.
Some people, unfortunately, don't know how to look past what they see.
I'm a case-by-case kind of person.
Adrian, so you're walking around outside, just taking in the night air.
I have a goal in mind. If that
Where are you heading?
helps. 'Cause I had some thoughts, and I'll listen to my friends, my allies. I'm calling you friends. I will be safe, and I'll drink a healing potion just to be safe. But I'm drinking my potion, and I'm going to pull up my hood on my sweater, my lovely sweater, and I will wave my hand and press to digitate myself so that I smell worse. And I'm trying to make myself look like a hobo, essentially. I'm going to start just like walking around looking different, looking a lot worse. I am taking a walk. I want to see the courtyard of where the auction was held.
Okay.
And there's the specific reason I want to see what's happening there. I'm staying far away. I'm not walking up. I just want to see the people leaving, and I want to see if I spot any family members or familials, just to make sure they're alive.
There's a few.
I'm keeping to the shadows.
There's a lot more of these knights that you saw riding the drakes than you're expecting. They are clearly searching for something. You cannot see your son. Your wife is alongside one of the, like, watching from one of the opposite ends of the gates of the courtyard, as her new beau is also following around with the guards, clearly looking for something. But there's a lot of activity.
All right. what would a roll have to be to determine if they're aggressively searching or like passively searching? You know what I mean? Like,
There's no roll needed. There's about 20 of these guards actively running around, looking around the courtyards.
mhm.
Like, this
Okay.
is, we need to find this thing.
Yeah. Um, I'm going to reach into my deck of cards. Like if I'm like in an alleyway watching this, or I'm like behind a building or whatever, I'm gonna pull back into that alley. I'm gonna take out a card. I'm gonna quickly scribble something on it. I'm gonna pop back out, and I'm gonna try and go for the Hail Marys of sleight of hands. And if depending on how far I am, I'm just gonna take the card in between my fingers and flick it across the wind towards my X-Wing.
Okay. Give me a sleight of hand check. At this distance, I will have to say do it at disadvantage.
That is acceptable. Let me just see something.
We may go slightly late because of the earlier break, if that is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I, at all, as I flick the card, can I, with my other hand, do a wave and prestidigitation says I can do a puff of short wind? Can I give it a boost?
Sure. What did you roll?
I haven't rolled yet.
Okay, I will allow that. I will take that into account for your disadvantage roll.
Okay, that's not great. That was so much better. 12 is all right.
You see it flutter along. It just barely misses getting stuck in one of the guards' helms. It just passes, and it just sort of hits the fence and just gently falls in front of her as she looks down to it. What does it say on the card?
It is a very quick, it is a very simple message. He's in a mood right now, but it's just a written message to like convey like I'm still alive, I'm still here. It simply just reads, I don't believe in luck.
She looks down at the card and looks over to where she assumes it was thrown.
The second I throw it, he's gonna turn the other direction. He's gonna do the jump behind a moving bus and disappear.
She just looks confusedly around, picks up the card and looks at it. So you jump behind this, I'm going to say just a small carriage. You just kind of hear a muffled, "Oh, hitching a ride too?"
From behind me?
In the carriage.
Who's...
You see a small, looks like a half-elf by your estimation. Looks like a half-sun elf. Kind of strawberry blondish hair. Very, very, very sparkling blue eyes. Just looking over to you.
Do I recognize them at all?
No. Well, give me a perception. This will be tricky.
Okay, perception. $19.
There's something in her that looks familiar to you, but you can't place what exactly it is. You're like, there's parts of your face I recognize. Don't know what it is.
What's the time of day? Because I'm going on as if it's late. Like,
It's
late.
very,
Okay, yeah.
It's late.
I think... He's just gonna ask, you know where the skin cat is?
Yeah, I have an idea. Been there before.
I need a drink heavier than this. And he'll join.
Perfect. She reaches out and with a lot more strength than her small body should have, pulls you into the carriage.
If this is who I think it is, I hope she doesn't care that we lied to her that one time.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that is who it is.
It looks like you had a very long night.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Copper for your thoughts?
Do you believe in luck, or do you believe in skill?
She thinks about it. I believe one makes their own luck. So is that skill?
Oh, I guess.
You seem like the kind of person that doesn't believe in a lot except for yourself.
Yeah, one could say that. I believe in my skills, and my skills get me far.
She nods.
As far as you can get in this city.
She nods her head. She quickly seems to like fish around into a small little area and pulls out a little book with black binding on the back as she sets down and begins to open up and starts reading through. So, I was hearing some crazy stuff happen. There's some lights and stuff near that castle. I don't live in the city proper, so what was going on? You look like you live here. Do you know where the skinned cat is, I would assume?
Would I recognize this person as having been in the auction?
No.
Okay, listen, Adrian's not that dumb, so he does give like a very watered down version of events. Like he's very like he's not telling the full story. It is very much oh yeah, you know, I saw that happen too, and then I think I heard this happen. Like very watered down. Because he was told, hey, someone's hunting you, so he's not gonna full blown tell everything to someone.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. You're lucky to have just witnessed it, not been involved. It sounds like it'd been scary.
Yeah.
Although,
Tough day for the
are
city.
you the type to run from danger, or you make your own skill,
I'm the
right?
type that deserves a hard drink, right?
I think my friend can get you a much harder drink than anything at the Skinned Cat if you'd like. She taps what appears to have been somebody sleeping on the opposite side of where she was. Would you like a stronger drink?
Okay, this is a silly question in the moment because I'm gonna ask, and because I've gotten drinks from him for so long. How strong of a drink does Grom make? Because I've had Grom's mix, and I remember that being strong.
You've had Grom's Mix, which is every alcohol in a single slurry. Typically speaking, I mean, he's mostly selling what he can get, which tends to be cheap because he's Grom. Cheap doesn't necessarily mean weak, but average.
Well, then I think the one question that's absolutely going to get him into trouble even further is, are you buying?
Friend, you still have the... There's a motion, and you see this massive, thick Goliath arm lift up this huge corked bottle and sets it down in front of you. And then the arm quickly moves back, grabs the tarp that was covering it, and pulls it over it like it was sleeping. Strongest week.
I've seen the...
You've seen the arms of the thing.
Because they were together when me and Kanian ran into them.
Yes. It was heavily covered up, but you definitely saw its arm.
So I wouldn't be too far off from saying now I'm starting to get the picture.
Starting to piece some things together.
Okay.
But she wasn't a sun elf when you saw her. Half sun elf anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
The finest.
I'm gonna go big or die trying. I'm gonna look at her and I'm gonna say, thank you for the drink. Thank you for the ride. But it's getting late, and I suggest that we stop here. You let me off, and I'll take the drink with me along the way. And you better believe
Are
I'm
you
casting suggestion.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to look at something real quick.
It is a wisdom save. That's why I'm saying I'm going big or going home.
What is suggestion's effect?
Oh boy, yeah, that's... If they can't be charmed, they're immune to it.
She smiles. My dear, I insist. I need you to make me a wisdom save.
Oh, God. You know, it's only appropriate that I roll in that one.
You see her shift in guise. She's no longer this small thing. She is trusted. Dangerous, but she would never hurt you.
Hmm.
What's your name?
Well, I mean, if I feel comfortable around them all of a sudden, you know, it's Adrian.
Adrian. A pleasure to meet you. Last time that we met, I don't think I gave you my name. Did I?
Say that I would remember.
You may call me Lorelei.
Lorelei, it is good to meet you.
A pleasure. I had remembered asking if you'd seen someone. Goes by the name of Orm.
I don't say this, but the first thing that popped in my head is to go like, oh yeah, that guy's my best friend.
And then you gave me directions, but he didn't seem to be at the place you said. I'm assuming that he just happened to not be in there at the time. When you see him again, could you do me a favor?
Sure.
She places a finger on your forehead, and you feel the most intense prick at the center of your brain, as if something has been slid through like a needle and implanted.
Oh, God.
Just go ahead and clasp him on the shoulder like friends do. Okay?
Sure.
Now, where do you want me to drop you off? Because I promise you the skinned cat is probably not a good idea tonight.
Have anywhere else to be.
The lumbering form kind of lifts. Where come from? Weren't at bar.
That's normal.
Drop you a few blocks away. Find your way back.
That works. I was gonna suggest the same thing.
See Orm. Say Rummage says hi.
Will do.
Rolls back and lays down. This is your stop then.
Right, well, thank you for the drink. Thanks for the ride.
Of course. Have a good evening. As you step off, the carriage continues on its way.
All right. Well, my short walk just got a lot longer.
Canyon, your night in the room is uneventful-ish. The problem
Yeah.
is the room that you're in, which is it's comfortable for specific reasons, and this is not one of them. Just actively sleeping is a little difficult. You're getting rest, but it's hard to just sleep.
Yeah, I think I if I can't like fall asleep, I'll probably after Adrian left, probably wander back out to find the others.
They're all still gathered in the main temple.
Well, the room was a bit of a bust. What did I miss out here?
Adrian tried to rob a ghost, and then the ghost beat him at cards, so he left.
Adrian took from Lana, and Lana promptly put his ass in his place.
Oh yeah, God, not ghost.
What?
Yeah. He took 7 copper, and if you're aware, what belongs to the house stays in the house. And he then promptly decided to say that luck doesn't exist, skill only then prompted a card game, and he got his ass handed to him. So he decided to take a walk.
I believe the young ones call it getting wrecked or skill issue.
Something like that.
I like that skill issue.
She's looking at this. Hadislan is looking to you, Canyon, and is just watching your ears, like laser focused just on your ears.
Can I help you?
I've never seen an Arcoon or a half Arcoon, I guess.
Are you really that rare? I guess I haven't seen any others.
I mean, you're
And the
special
time
to
I've
me,
been
Canyon.
alive.
Thank you.
I mean, most don't really leave High Wave, but
No.
also half Arcoons I don't think I've ever seen ever.
That doesn't really happen.
I
I've
haven't
never
asked the
seen it,
details.
and I've spent a lot of time in High Wave.
I've seen more frame built than I've seen Arcoons.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I haven't really asked the details of all of it, so I don't really know much about it.
Do your ears move?
Do they?
They do in the same way that a raccoon's ears would. This is what an Arcoon is. It's just a humanoid raccoon.
Uh-huh.
It's very cute.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I guess I should also add I'm not from High Wave. I've not been there actually.
Interesting. Where are you from, if that's okay for me to ask?
The capital.
Oh. There's like a oh. Okay. I guess that
Has
makes
so
more
many
sense.
implications.
Mm-hmm. It makes more sense now, I guess. If it helps, I'm from Sermon Way. So.
Okay.
Are we talking originally or been
Originally.
living?
I guess originally.
We're gonna go that far. Itonian capital, but most of my life is in High Wave.
Looks to Orm. I don't want to hazard a guess.
A box.
Okay.
In a box. In a box. Really deep underground.
Okay. Probably around this time.
One could say under a rock. I think you could sum that up with under a rock.
Probably around this time.
I'm pretty sure there were a few rocks.
You find your way back to the temple.
All right. I walk back in. I mean, I'm probably still.
You're still under the charmed effect, yeah.
Yeah. So I walk back in, you know, with this new bottle that I've probably been drinking from a little bit. Just casually walk past Orm. Hey, Rummage says hello, and then walks past to sit down.
As soon as your hand touches Orm's shoulder, Orm, your mind is bombarded with a vision. Thought Shard. I love this spell. You see an old to everyone else here, to you, this castle is almost new. You remember it being built. You see that it rests on the edge of a place covered in ice. You see as if you're being pulled along the road leading up to it. You see a massive metallic hand grab a hold of the gate and pull it down as this prison carriage wheels something in. Seated on the cold steps, you see a pair of figures. The first you see is of an elven woman with snow-pale skin, almost Cahulian-style armor, this see-through-ish silk ribbon around her, and a sword resting just next to her, with this beautiful blondish hair just watching the carriage come in. Seated just behind her, you see a figure that has very similar, the lead going up the left arm. The robe that they wear, despite it being chillingly cold, only covering half of their form, the left side of their body completely exposed to the elements, still with more of this lead coming up to where their heart should be, though instead you see a pumping metal organ that seems to be filtering through this strange green liquid. The figure watching the carriage smiles, and you see a pair of sharp canine teeth. Ah, perfect. A good experimentation for this. You do me well, Snow Queen. I trust that this one did not give you too much trouble. As the woman shakes her head and stands up. Your end of the bargain was already set. I'll take my leave. And as she walks away, you see her being accompanied by someone in very similar Cahulian armor, though this is paired with a much more dark blue color, a samurai-like top knot, and a thick-ish goatee and beard to follow as he carries behind him a double-sided sword, which he spins and places at his shoulders as she walks away. The male walks up to where you are visualizing this and reaches forward, grabs a hold of what you can only assume to be the top of your head and pulls you close. You thought you could escape? That you were ever going to get away? No one leaves. But you'll be perfect for this, I promise. The gods may not deign to give me all of the answers, but I will discover just what it takes to cure me. And you will feel everything I have felt in the process. And as he pulls you in, you see, attached to the robe, a symbol. That same blue seal with the sword going through its center. Adjoining this, just behind it, is a signet seal, much larger. A blue rose with black, almost like tendrils running up the sides of each of the petals. Karstein. This is the symbol of the Karsteins. That's a name you know. That is who was imprisoning you. This memory fades just as quickly as you saw it, but it is forever implanted into you. And Adrian, that memory that you have, that locked in, that pain, gone. Same with the charmed spell.
Question before going forward. Was the memory from my perspective or from a third person, like a scrying
It
eye?
is from your perspective.
Okay. So I saw them through like the bars at the back of the carriage and
Yes.
all of that.
Yes.
Okay.
As he snaps out of the charm, and he's like, looks around. Why am I back here? I just left.
I grab him by the sweater and lift him off the ground.
Oh!
Okay, just to get an image. How quickly of a time lapse was there? Him
Seconds?
doing that and Orm.
Literal seconds.
Okay, the second that happens, Filthy Yarn is moving to get up and try to like separate the two, even if he has Adrian up in the air. All right, what the hell's going on?
I'm raged. I am grappling as an attack. As I'm holding Adrian, and I'm walking him to one of the walls to put his back into.
Someone get him off me! I don't know what's happening!
Ooh.
What the hell's going on?
You do remember the person's name. Like that a lot of the stuff that you had didn't fade away, but the charm was there. You no longer see her in that same light.
Okay.
You also are
I
aware
don't
that
see
she's talking to
them.
you.
Yeah, I don't see them as like favorable or a friend.
No.
I don't know, man. Someone charmed me. That's my thing.
Ooh.
I'll say, someone named Lorelai, but you probably know them by something else.
La
L.
L. Are you
I
wearing
didn't
your
recognize
armor?
them at first. He has his armor on. Yes, he's been wearing the armor this entire time.
I'm going to press Adrian hard enough into the wall that the armor on his back bows into his back. Not cutting into him, but it is dented towards your back.
Isn't it leather?
It is leather.
It is leather.
There would still be
Oh,
metal
okay.
rivets in that armor, so that's probably what's digging
Yeah.
in there.
The rivets are bending in.
The Hadislan is like starting to move towards you. Orm just like places a hand gently on your back. Like,
You knew what was going on. You knew people are coming after us. A demon's voice in your head, a necromancer who raises me after thousands of years. I've warned you was in this city, and you leave. The only safe place we had in this city from them.
I hid myself the best I thought.
excuse me? Please put him down.
I took precautions. They didn't work, but I took them.
Slides down the wall till your feet are on the ground.
Please let him go.
Orm, I didn't just walk out there. I took precautions.
Please gently let him go.
You can be mad at me, but you can't be mad at me for trying to hide. I tried.
You shouldn't have left.
I needed space.
Orm, as you say you shouldn't have left, you remember vividly that same voice. You shouldn't have left.
I forget. Do we all know that you spent a lot of time in a box? We don't know.
Don't know how long. Because even Orm doesn't know how long at this point in time. But he knows it is very fucking long.
But the rest of us know that you have spent time in a box.
Yeah.
the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's probably a low blow, but Adrian does say, "How long have you been inside of a box? You better than anyone should know about needing space from something."
My fist hits the wall right next to Adrian's head.
It's good. It's not hitting the wall. It's going through. It's just.
Are you really gonna be playing that card, Adrian?
I need to walk now, but I'm not leaving safety.
Could I request?
Maybe just find a room.
Could I request people stop breaking the temple I live in?
I'll
I'm
fix
gonna-
it.
Okay.
I'll fix it.
Thank you.
And Orm goes to wherever the centermost like statue or semblance of honorific to this god and goes behind it and just sits on the ground.
Okay. Are you hurt? Looking over to Adrian.
I don't know.
Okay.
Other than your pride.
I would say it's lucky that he didn't cave your head in, but you don't believe in luck. She smiles.
I'm gonna say it loud enough for Orm to hear it, because he's gonna say, "And if he did that, it would have been deserved. I would have accepted the punch." But it's not. He's not like looking in Orm's direction to say it. He just says it out loud.
So cooler heads and all. I'm still maintaining sanctuary, so I can't sleep. So I'm gonna.
I'll stay up.
Cool. I'm just gonna go ahead and just play a game if anyone wants to join me, and she's going to head over to one of the tables.
Yeah, sure.
I don't have to sleep. I spent enough time in a box. And Orm will go sit with Aslan.
The three of us playing a game.
All right, Adrian, I think we're gonna have a talk.
Before we end for the night, of course, the thing I have to do because I have to do it because it's my little motif. We cut away as the individual from the family makes their way through into, like, slips through an open window, and his boots crunch down onto what he just imagines to be, all right, well, that's an arm. Kind of kicks it over to one side. All right. This is a disgusting place you have me laying low in. Anyways, you wanted this, right? And he pulls out the small box, and he opens it up, revealing this mesite crystal. As a large Goliath hand grabs hold of the side of the wall, and then a equally large Dragonborn hand grabs the other side and lumbers its way forward. Following closely behind is this half-sun elf woman. Right, that's perfect. You are very skilled, aren't you? I'm just doing my job. And besides, you do this favor, you give us things in return, and you leave certain aspects of my job alone, right? Of course. Now, about the other side of the payment. Right, yes, information. I only got some bits and pieces from the people that you didn't know about. Adrian, you are aware of some of his dealings. I did learn a little bit about the other son. Go on. Dropped off the face of Retia, it seems. Though we did manage to find out where he was hiding? I suppose is a better word for it. You're being obscure about this for a reason. His difficulty of locating him is more because of where he is and how hard it is to get there. Why? He's in the cauldron, so... shrugs. right. That means he's not a priority at the moment. That and the Nephilim are not going to take kindly to us invading there again, so we won't. What about Canyon? Much easier on that front, honestly speaking. He shrugs. His family's noble, in a sense. He not so much. A bit of a bastard. So that means a lot of his things are less so secretive. However, go on. Because of the lineage in question, his family holds some information on certain key events that I don't think he's privy to. And we can exchange favors in that sense. By keeping his lineage under wraps, they give us what we want. Such as the location of one of the DGR units. She raises an eyebrow. Which DGR unit exactly are we talking about? Oh, it's the fucking... Just like, he like snaps his fingers trying to think about it. It's the hold on, they all have complicated names. Kronos, SY Kronos. Interesting. And what about Orm? Well, what information we were able to dig up is old. Extremely. Experiment from the Karstein family. They're old. Very, very, very old. Most of their descendants are relegated over to the far into Sermon Way. Pretty much near where most of the place is just ice, essentially. However, the castle structure they used to live on drifted far away from where it initially was. And it's now in a very dangerous spot that I don't know why you're curious about it. Go on. It drifted over to where the last sightings of one of the, Forgotten resides. Specifically, I think you know what I'm talking about. I'm very aware. And if that's where they are, something tells me that our family may not be as dead as you might proclaim. Good information. She picks up the crystal. So what's your plan with that, then? Do you ever hear what happened at Gilligan's Pit? I have some idea. Scorn and Gotham have a better idea. One on a much, much larger scale. And this is going to help us do that. But don't worry. We'll make sure we stay far away from your business. Right? I'll be off then. As he turns and heads to the window. Oh, and, Assassin, one last thing. As much as it pains me to say this, Orm is off limits. So if your family has any Danes on any of the other three, I don't really care about that much. Orm stays alive. We get Filtiarn's blood, if it comes down to it. Other than that, I don't really care about the others as long as they breathe. Understood? As he ducks through the window, and that's where we're going to end for the evening.
Ooh.
Thank you all very much for joining. We lost Pi at the end there. Thank you all very much for joining us this evening. Stuff is kicking up plot-wise, so this will be fun. Don't worry, nothing bad will ever happen to any of you. Let's go around and say what else we're doing, where we can find you. Holly, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at RoxasBuddy or Holly Crown on Blue Sky. Life's been keeping me busy, but I'm hoping to get back into tabletop stuff, and you can find all of my stuff on itch.io at Holly Crown as well.
Panda.
Hi, I'm Panda, or Red Panda Cola. You can find me on the internet the same every other Thursday on this channel playing Torvald the Trekkie, your shipwright for the crew on Set Sail.
Ark.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ark, or Ark Light Court, your Gridmaster, Lighthouse Keeper, Lore Rider, Beacon onto all beacons. I am the Power Rangers guy. Power Rangers ttrpg content creator, game writer, and variety streamer. Our next episode of the Heritage Collection is on May 19th, where we get into the conclusion of Chapter 1. A lot of crazy stuff's been happening over there. Morphin Multiverse is on a small hiatus for people who are traveling for PAX East right now. So we will be returning with that once the PAX is over. And other than this here, you can just catch me on my channel on Mondays, Tuesdays, and the opposite Thursdays, where I'm either talking Power Rangers, teaching more about the lore of the universe and the spectrum, playing Marvel Rivals or whatever other random game piques my interest at the time, or creating brand new TTRPGs with a 5-page challenge that I do over there. But you can find out everything about me at arclightcourt.com.
And because Pi's internet died, you could find Pi over at Official Pie Guy, or on youtube.com at Pi's Bakery, or on his Twitch channel at Pi's Bakery channel on Twitch. He plays Marvel Rivals. He runs his own D&D games, which are pretty super special, awesome. He's also currently in a guest role in Arc 2 of Set Sail on Opposing Thursdays to my games. We love Pi very, very much. As for me, hi, I run games on Thursdays because I picked the perfect day to run D&D games until the foreseeable future. So, I do have a casting call for a game I can't talk about explicitly here on Twitch, but if you're 18 plus, my casting call is still up and will be up for the foreseeable future until it is cast, probably in June. So, yeah. Other than that, I also run Set Sail and Opposing Thursdays to this. I'm writing a book for the Black Library of Warhammer 40k, which takes the roles of the Karkarodons. I'm also working on a couple other side projects, which has been very fun and is taking up a lot of my time. And sometimes I just talk about random things that pop into my head on my Twitter. Some of them are funny, some of them are serious. A lot of them are me being a nerd. Thank you all very much for joining us. I love you all, and we will see you next time.